we've actually worked on a bunch of interesting projects and films. And before I get into it, I'd just like to quickly go over some of the things that we've done. We worked on Ship of Theseus. This was a philosophical art film that was actually received very well. We were fortunate to win the national award for this in 2013. We worked on Tumbad. Tumbad was this really fun period horror drama film that we made. It was a bunch of funny to make and it was also pretty well received. We made an insignificant man. This was a non-fiction political thriller, a really stylish documentary, if you will, about the rise of the Aam Aadmi Party, raised Arvind Kejriwal's coming into politics as a politician to be reckoned with. And then we did something very interesting. We started experimenting with virtual reality. We made virtual reality documentary films that told really urgent stories about floods that were happening in Bihar, about caste issues that were prevalent in our society, about the state of education in Himachal and how kids would have to trek through long distances to get there. And all of these mediums were very compelling in their own right. They all had something to offer. Through film, we were able to translate and tell the human experience. Through VR, we were able to provoke a sense of urgency that had never been done before by putting you right in the middle of these stories. But I would say that the most fun medium that we worked on is definitely board games. And gaming is where it's really at, to be very blunt. This is Shasan. It's our first board game. It's a political strategy board game where every player is a politician. They are competing for power. They have to do a bunch of exciting things. And I'll get to that in a minute. I'll take you guys through the journey of Shasan in a little bit. But I just want to take a step back and I want to ask a more fundamental question here. We love games, right? That's why we're all here. We really love games. We love making them, we love playing them. I mean, I think conservative estimates suggest that we play games for about 300 billion hours a year collectively as a human species. The industry is over $100 billion. Nothing really comes close. My question to you is, when there's so much that we could be doing, we could be watching films, we could be reading books, we could be hanging out with our friends outside, why do we love games so much? And this is a question that I'm hoping to get some answers. If you have anything, shout it out. Why do you love games?
It's interactive.
Interactive, great. What else? I'm sorry? Control, love that answer. Social, great. Thrilling, nice. Okay, great. I think we can agree that it's also fun in addition to all the other things that you described. Definitely a lot of fun, right? But have you ever thought about what makes anything fun? Why is something fun at all? To answer that question, to sort of really get into the answer of that, to get to the bottom of the matter, we have to turn to code. And not just regular code, but our genetic code. You see, the thing is, we are just like the machines in the games that we program and we make. We are complex algorithms that are at play, that are unfolding. And fun is our body's way of rewarding behavior. Our bodies have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. They've been trying to get us to survive as best as possible. And the goal of every living species, humans included, is to continue to sustain their own survival and to pass on their genes in the form of progeny. This is why food and sex feels great. We love our food taste, we like how sex feels because our body incentivizes them. It does that through the release of dopamine and serotonin. These are two of the magic molecules that make you go, that make you enjoy the feeling of control, that make you, revel in your victory, that make you just, take great pleasure in all of the things that you do. So what we realize is that play is also beneficial. If play is fun, if play feels good, then there's also a merit to it. This is the reason our body has grown to incentivize play. And to figure that out, we have to look around us and realize that humans are not the only species that play, right? You must have seen your cats, your dogs, your crows. Probably not your tiger cubs because we don't have them, but every animal species goes at it. They're playing all the time. So clearly, it's not a phenomenon that's unique to us. What's going on? Why are they playing? What joy are they deriving? Are they also experiencing the same control, satisfaction, the fun that we are? I'm sure, definitely. But they're doing that primarily because they're training. Play is simulation. It's a simulation for war, it's a simulation for survival, it's a low stakes simulation in which you can prepare for your real life and for the real world. When two tiger cubs are mock fighting with each other, they're training for a real fight in the wild that could make the difference between them surviving, not surviving. So, area control, resource management, social deduction, these aren't just game genres. They are the ground realities of all these species out there. And once upon a time, they used to be our realities as well. We tend to forget that civilization is a very recent thing because we talk about VR, we talk about our blockbuster video games, we talk about the final nuances of complex systems that have only recently arrived. We forget that this is all a relatively new thing. And when we look at our old human games, think about the first games that you learn as a child. We all begin with some version of hide and seek, some version of tag, some version of chore police, lock and key, depending on wherever you grew up in. You have a few knockoffs or skins. What's going on there? Hide and seek is the most primal human game there is. It harks back to our days of forest and savanna environments where we had to hunt or be hunted, and you literally practicing that right from when you are a very young age. Tag is literally about practicing how to run away from a predator. I'm sure those games aren't really very relevant today. Odds are very low that one of us might go out and get eaten by a tiger. Probably not going to happen, at least not in this city. But that's where we started. And what we gather from this is that play is important because play is learning. Play is a tool of learning. And this training is something that is familiar to us. Even in the games that we play, we are training all the time. Have you ever experienced that feeling when you're playing a really good game and you don't want to do the main quests because you don't want to get over with it or you're not ready, so you keep grinding all the side quests. Anybody that's played Pokemon can relate to having to train your starters right before you go to the gym battle. It's really fun, but that's just something we all so on that note, I want you to take a look at this chart. Any Dota players in the house? So you guys probably know all of these heroes, right? And back me up here. An average Dota player needs to know all these heroes and more, needs to know all their powers, all their matchups, needs to know the hundreds of items that can be used, to counter other heroes, to just play, not even to be a good player. This is the bare minimum. Is it a lot of information? Yes. Is it hard for them to know and learn? Probably not. Now compare this with this. How many of you can decide this table by heart? Quick show of hands. How many of you would go watch a tournament about the periodic table being played in that exhibit hall out there? Nobody would. We barely retain any of this information, even though we've all learned it. We've all been a part of the schooling process where we've had to learn this stuff. We remember nothing. But we play a game and we remember everything. What's going on here? Are games just that much better than formal education? I think so, yes. But also, is something wrong with the way we learn? Is there something that we could perhaps improve upon? Because we put children in classrooms, we tell them to stare at a screen, which is not even a screen, it's just a blackboard. It's the most boring kind of screen there is. And we ask them to learn complex formulae and we ask them to learn abstract systems and concepts that they can't really relate to, that don't really make sense for them, that they find no use or applicability for in your daily lives. What's really funny is that as kids, most of us hate math, most of us, don't really get it, but it's actually very relevant to our lives. Most of you developers or aspiring developers can attest to how you need calculus, how you need computer science to get shit done. But as kids, you can't
వాళ్ళకి
still
చెప్పు
benefit of that.
వాళ్ళకి చెప్పు
So there's
టెక్నీషియన్
something not really
టెక్నీషియన్
great
పిలుస్తారు
with how we approach education. And what we're doing is we're stifling our natural response. The body wants to get out there and play and learn because that is our hardwired biological response. We clamp down on that, however, and tell them that's not how you learn. You read this book and you learn this shit, that's how you learn. It doesn't really help. I want you to think about the most popular games today. We have Fortnite, we have PUBG, we have Call of Duty. I genuinely believe that these games are great. They're a lot of fun. They are superbly fun to play. And I think a big part of that is because they cater to our most primal instincts. When you play Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty, it's literally kill or be killed. It's the rawest simulation that our body has prepared for. It literally triggers the adrenaline rush. It triggers the fight or flight response. That is just so thrilling. That is so much fun to experience. When you're playing Fortnite, you have two options. You can either stand your ground, fight, and like mow anybody that comes your way. That's the fight response. Or you can flee. You can keep steadily making your way to the shrinking storm center until you have to make a last stand. That's the flee response. These games do that wonderfully. They're beautifully designed. They hook us and they get us to keep coming back for more. And more skilled, more qualified speakers than I have been talking to you guys about player retention, player interaction, and all of that is really cool. But the question that I want to ask today is, even though these games are superbly fun and have so much utility in our lives, it's a form of social bonding, it's just a way to relax, it's a way to unwind. How much do we learn and take away into our daily lives? I mean, are you going to be able to a parachute onto a desert island and be asked to survive? Unless you're Tom Cruise, probably not. So these games are just fun. But they're superbly fun, not taking that away from them. I want to take a really quick detour and share a fun story with you before I come back to that. This is the barn swallow. It's a bird found in North America. And in the early 2000s, scientists did a particularly fun experiment with this particular bird. So they noticed that females of the species were extremely attracted to males that had dark red feathers on the chest and the neck area. So much so, in fact, that some poor males who had light colored fur here turned out to not really be the fathers of their children. Like they realized that infidelity was rampant. If you didn't have bright red color here, odds were that you were raising somebody else's children and you didn't even know that. So these poor males were living their own lives very happily. The scientists said, hey, okay, let's gather them up, let's round them up, and let's try something. They took a $1 marker, a red marker. It literally costed $1. And they just colored the chests. They said, okay, you need more success, you need more right swipes, here you go, maybe this will help you. They colored all their chests and sent them back, waited a few days. And guess what? Unbelievable birds turned into Romeos of one time. It worked. Genuinely, it worked. They came back after a few days. All the birds, all the little chicks in their nests were there. Their partners were not straying at all, and they experienced immense success with this very simple hack. Now the story is fun, and you might be thinking to yourself, "What a dumb bird." But are humans really that much better? What do you think? This is that. This is a phenomenon that is particularly fascinating to me. The abs. What is it? It's just a group of muscles that has become supremely important in pop culture of late. Like no other group of muscles has this much respect and prestige, right? A 4-pack, 6-pack, it's the minimum requirement today to even be a B-grade actor. But why? Why is that? Why is it even attractive to humans? Why is it so attractive to humans? And to answer that question, we need to go a little back in time. Back in the day of when we were in the forests and savannas, abs were important because they were a signifier of how strong and fit somebody was. A human male that had abs had greater chances to survive and to raise their young and to provide food for their offspring. And so we are hardwired to find abs attractive. But today that's not really the case. Salman Khan may have a great six pack, but that doesn't make him a better hunter. hunter. Okay, maybe not the best example in that case. But the point is that today we can go to our neighborhood supermarket and we can just shop for everything that we need. This is a biological hangover, is what it is. Same thing with makeup. It's a billion-dollar industry, cosmetics, and I mean, it kind of sounds like the felt-up market for human beings. So that's what makeup is about. What I'm trying to illustrate through these examples is that human behavior is predictable. Human behavior is a collection of response systems to certain stimuli, and human behavior can be hacked. In fact, many industries have started to figure this out, and junk food is one very good example of this. Again, our body is incentivized to reward the consumption of sugar and fat. It tastes great. The greasy burgers that we eat, the coke that we drink. Why does it taste so good, even though it's terrible for our body? It's because it didn't used to be that way. When there wasn't enough food around, any excess sugar, carbohydrate, energy was a great thing. And so our body said, this is wonderful. With countries around the world stepping in and saying, hey, maybe we should look at loot boxes. Maybe children paying money for randomized items sounds like digital gambling, and maybe that's not the best way to go about it. These are things that we're figuring out. But the reason these loot boxes work is the same reason slot machines work. When you pull a slot machine, when you put in some money and you pull a slot machine, imagine this. You put in a quarter, you put in the lever, and you get a 6. Ding, 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 ding. You get another 6. Ding, 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 ding. You're about to get a third 6, and it's about to be over. Oh, but it's a 7. So close. But you felt that adrenaline rush. You have felt the thrill. And brain scans actually have shown. Again, scientists have done experiments where they realize that a person who almost hit the jackpot has almost the same activity as a person who did hit the jackpot. Brain activity, that is. This tells us that the anticipation of a reward releases as much dopamine as actually getting a reward. And this is a principle, a neuroscientific principle that a lot of game developers have identified, and some are putting it to bad use. The reason I'm illustrating this is because if junk food is bad for us, and we realize that now, and if junk food is capitalizing on our burst impulses, so what do we call a game that would do the same thing? That would ideally, that would de facto become a junk food game, which masquerades as something that's good for us, but actually isn't, and starts to hollow us out from the inside a little bit, and doesn't really add to our well-being. And if there are games like this out there, then what is the solution to them? What is the health food of gaming? What is gaming that is actually good for us, that enriches us, nourishes us, and leaves us better off, all in all? What if we started making games that took the most important dots that exist in our world and presenting them in a manner that makes players want to connect those dots themselves? And what if we made games that allow this experiential learning to unfold? This is the vision that we have for games, and this is something that we tried with our first game. I'm not saying that by any means we've nailed it. This is just the beginning of the attempt. It's a pilot project almost. And the topic that we decided to take on was something that was very close to us. It's politics. I'm not sure, but I think I saw a few people switch off, because that's what happens when you say politics. But okay, really quick poll. How many of you here consider yourself to be political? A quick show of hands, if you don't mind. All right, that's pretty cool. Fair enough, but I have some news for the rest of you. We're all political. I know you don't want to hear it, but we're all political. From the phones that we use to how they're manufactured, from the jeans that we wear to how they're supplied and sourced, to the coffee that we drink, and the trade relations that we have with countries which allow us to import those coffees. Everything is political. Everything. There's literally no escaping it. But I get it. I completely get it, because politics is so messy. It's so hard to understand. It's so complicated. It's bombarding you all the time with news that you can't keep up. There's so much saturation. There's information overload. That I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not knowing who our country's vice president is. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not knowing how many Democratic candidates there are at any given point of time for the presidential race in the US. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not understanding why so much of our political discourse is dominated by a temple. I mean, I don't blame you. There's just so much going on.
And that's why we built Shasan. We wanted to create a tool that would allow people to engage with politics in a fun way. And I stress upon the fun because that is the primary thing for games to do effectively. You build a great product, you build a great game that is a complete blast to play, and you actually slip in some actual information or insight that could be useful. It's what we tried doing with Shasan. And it's been well received. We've been fortunate to have gotten fairly a warm welcome from the industry. We've received good reviews. We've received some degree of financial success. We were able to raise almost $500,000 on Kickstarter and BackerKit combined, which actually made us the largest ever Indian crowdfunding campaign. We also received an Impact Award from Indiecade 2019. Thank you so much. From Indiecade, which is one of the world's largest indie gaming conventions. So somewhere our efforts are being recognized. And I want to go over a little bit about the design process of Shasan itself. We decided to look at what it is we really want to talk about. We wanted to talk about politics in a way that was fun and easy to digest. And so we said, okay, there's a lot of schools of political thought out there. Let's turn them into 4 really exciting characters that are easy to understand and engage with. So the policies, the schools of thought we wanted to talk about, we condensed them into 4 characters. We have the capitalist, we have the supremo, we have the showman, we have the idealist, and these represent the conversations that we think we need to be having. Then our next challenge was, how do we get people to realize that everything is indeed political and that we need to have a say in what happens around us? So this is what we built the core mechanic of the game around. This ideology card is basically a policy question. Every turn you're asked a question with 2 answers on each side. And they cover a whole host of topics from, should a park be sacrificed to build a parking lot? Simple question. Should the government fund a mission to colonize Mars? Should women be allowed to enter all temples freely? And you have 2 answers to pick from both sides, which are fairly easy. Anybody can pick it up, anybody can play with it. And you're forced to think about the politics behind it because every answer gives you resources that you can't see. You have to anticipate what your stance will get you, and you have to answer accordingly. And that allows you to earn resources. So in this process, we are gamifying a very complex discussion that people don't really enjoy having. And we're converting into a really fun game, saying, hey, play this game, have some fun. And oops, wow, you're actually talking about a policy here and there. That's really cool. That's a really cool side effect of that. So we have 4 resources. We have headlines. Then with every game mechanic, we tried to capture a real life political parallel. We didn't want any filler mechanics. We didn't want any filler content. Headlines. There is unpredictability in our world. There is a lot of uncertainty that good politicians must be able to adapt to. So we have headline cards. Conspiracies. This is hands down my favorite mechanic. This is what attracts people to politics in the form of House of Cards and repels people from politics in the form of regular people who are like, politics is a dirty game. I don't want to associate myself with the underbelly of it. But we took that, we gamified that into a really fun way that allows people to understand just how corruption and other negative practices can infiltrate our politics and what we can do about them. And once we were done with the game design process, we said, okay, now let's get it out to people. Let's play the game. So we began working on our game last year, early last year. We took a couple of months. We made the first iteration of it. We invited a bunch of people over to our office. They played a lot. They desecrated the game. They told us how stupid we were in so many ways, and that was really helpful because then we were able to refine the product and make a more substantial game, which we then took around. We went to people. We went to Hyderabad along with other cities. Some of you have played the game. It was really nice to meet you. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Goa, even took it to a couple of cities in the States where we had some friends, New York, San Francisco. And after 1,000 playtests, we had enough data to balance everything perfectly, to make sure that our vision was being translated perfectly, and to make sure we had created a game which was first and foremost superbly fun to play, and secondly, and equally importantly, allowed players to experience what it really meant to be a politician, that allowed people to understand the larger systems and processes that govern the politics of our world, and that allowed people in a really fun, gamified way to think about the policies that affect all of us, that shape our world. And this really is what we think games can do. I think that's really the magical thing about games. We know they're powerful, we know they're fun, but what if every game that you played was not just an absolute blast, but enriched you enough so that when you walk away after having played a good, nutritious health game, you have learned as much as you have enjoyed. This is the vision for games that we have, and we are trying to now pursue that vision with a whole bunch of games that we're making. We have like 5, 6 more in development. I'm not at liberty to talk about them, but our attempt to do this will continue. And I just think it would be a beautiful world if games could really do that, all of them.